Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. How are ya? My name is Sam and we're doing 31 days of Halloween here on YouTube, which means that every single day for the month of October, I'm posting a different makeup creation or just a little tip on how to do something kind of basic. So today we're doing something kind of basic. I'm just going to show you how to do some really simple bruises. So if you're going to a Halloween party but you don't really have a lot of time to do something extravagant, you can just throw a few bruises on your body and be a little scary looking. It's also a great thing to know how to do because you can just change up the colors a little bit and make it look like a zombie instead of just a bruise. So for today's bruises, I'll be using the Skin Illustrator SFX palette. These are alcohol activated paints, and all that means is to activate the paint. Like right now they're just hard and they're not gonna get on anything. All you have to do to activate these is spray a little bit of isopropyl alcohol or pour a little bit of the alcohol into the palette. But there are a lot of different ways that you can do bruises. My personal favorite is to use these alcohol palettes because you can dilute the color to make it look more realistic. But you can also use eyeshadow, you can use cream-based paints that you can get at the Spirit Halloween store. You can use anything really. So I'm going to show you how to do it with the alcohol paints. However, if you're following along and you don't have access to those, just try using the same types of colors with eyeshadow and see what happens. So to do this, my favorite technique is to just take a basic makeup sponge, regular old makeup sponge, and I texturize it. And to do that, I just use my fingernails and I rip with no rhyme or reason into the flat side of the sponge. And I just keep going until the full thing is textured. Something to keep in mind with bruises, I tend to like the really gory looking stuff, so I always make mine look really purple or red or disgusting. If it's a fresh bruise that you're trying to do, if you're trying to be really realistic, it's not going to be dark and colorful. It's probably just going to be a little pink. The older it gets, it's going to get nasty, and then as it gets really old to the point where it's almost healed is when it's going to turn yellow, usually. So I'm going for that. I just got in a big fight and I got punched over and over and over again repeatedly, so I'm like in my day 4 of healing, so it's gonna be a nasty looking bruise. So I'm gonna start with my palette. I'm gonna hit, it's called Prime Yellow. So if you don't have this specific palette, any yellow will do. And I'm taking my textured sponge and I'm gonna be bruising my collarbone. I'm gonna make it look really kind of nasty. So I'm starting off with yellow because that's gonna just be the base color, and usually the point of impact, which I'm gonna make my collarbone right here, usually that point of impact is clear or just like very barely discolored. I'm just gonna keep going. Okay, so now that that's on there, I'm gonna go in with a little bit of this burnt orange color. I'm just gently taking that one. So it's a little bit on there. I'm gonna start going on top of where I did yellow. Now to make it look a little bit more disgusting, I'm gonna add some green. I always add green when I'm doing anything like infected or a zombie. And I don't want too much, just enough to make it really look icky. Sponge. I'm never changing the sponge because it's okay for me if the colors overlap. That's what I want them to do. And you can see now the texture is like really coming out from the sponge. Now we're gonna add blue. And I'm gonna be really gentle with the blue. And now that we have blue, I'm going back in with the yellow once again. And I'm gonna focus it right on this perimeter because I still want that to be really fresh and nasty. So now that we have all of those base colors on, now it's time to make it look really gory. So I'm gonna start with this red. I'm gonna be using Bruise Tone for obvious reasons. This is gonna be my big and I'm just going all in the same circular motion. Again, going back in with the yellow now. This got a little heavy, so what I'm gonna do is just spray the alcohol right on my skin. Let it dry for a quick second. Take the thing, tap it out. And I'm gonna take the tip of my sponge, spray the alcohol directly on it, and then in the center, or where I want the center of the bruise to be, just take the makeup away a little bit, and then just very gently tap over it with the red. Then for the final touch, I'm gonna take one of these really cheap craft brushes, and I'm gonna dip into this bright red mixed with the dark red blood color. This is, if you're using this palette, it's aged blood and blood tone. I'm mixing the two, and this is gonna be like broken capillaries. And you can tap, I always use the top of my palettes as my mixing palette. Just make sure you don't have too much. And we're just gonna add some broken capillaries. Okay, and that is how you give yourself a really nasty bruise. If you want to take this to the next level, go back in with your blue, same brush, a little bit of blue, tap it off, and start adding some blue in there. Make it that really black and blue look, and I'm just keeping it right on the edge of that inner circle. Again, same thing. If you're gonna do this with eyeshadows, it's just a matter of blending. So guys, if you're gonna try to do this with eyeshadow, my biggest tip would be to not dip your brushes directly into your eyeshadow palette, because you might ruin your palette if you're gonna do what I'm about to say, which is to mix your eyeshadow with water. What I would suggest doing is taking like the back of a brush and scraping your eyeshadow out a little bit. You just need a little bit of pigment. Scraping it out onto like a paper plate or a paper cup or some type of dish that you can clean really easily, and just mix it with a little bit of water to make the colors a little bit more of like a gel consistency. That's the same trick that I do if you want to turn an eyeshadow into an eyeliner too, by the way. I'm gonna definitely be doing a zombie on this channel at some point for 31 Days of Halloween. If I was gonna turn this into something zombie-esque, I would be adding some veins coming out of it and making it look really infected and disgusting. But that is how I do Bruises really fast. That took 5 minutes. We just did it together in real time. If you do follow along with this tutorial, make sure you tag me at Instagram. My Instagram handle is @iam.samanthebrook. I'd love to see what type of bruises you guys do. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up and make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any days of 31 Days of Halloween with me. Love you guys. Purple it's a purple act.